You're listening to Greater Good Radio Hawaii. Please visit us online at greatergoodradio.com. Today's guest is David Heenan, trustee of the estate of James Campbell and the former business dean of the University of Hawaii. David is also the author of Double Lives and Flight Capital.
Can you share with us maybe a few concepts from Double Lives that maybe can help us as business people?
Well, I think one of the key messages is don't draw lines around yourself that say I'm a broadcast journalist or I'm a cost accountant or I'm a proctologist or whatever. There you go.
Or a cost accountant proctologist.
There you go. I think they're synonymous, actually. You really want to, I think, particularly as a younger person, do some dabbling, do some experimentation. But, the old notion of lifestyle planning used to be you did it when you were young, sort of up until maybe your very early 30s. That was the time, quote, to find yourself. And then you sort of did it at the back end of your life. When you retired, you then said, you looked back on your life and said, what am I going to do now that I really wanted to do the last 20 years? But if you were sort of the great unwashed in the middle, if you were sort of 35 to 60, you hunkered down. You really focused on a profession, the law, business, you name it, and got really good at it, and you had to specialize. What I'm suggesting in the book, the Double Lives book, is that double lives aren't constrained by time, and that we all ought to nurture it really through our entire life. In fact, many of these skills, whether it's painting or flying an airplane or writing a book, are cumulative in nature. Skills sort of build on themselves, and the sooner you get in touch with that other side of you and start to develop those skills, put the building blocks in place, the better off you are.
How do you actually identify that?
Well, I think, you want to do some serious soul searching. What really turns you on? What is there a hidden passion that you had maybe as a younger person that you'd really like to see emerge? Talk to mentors and family members and others who, might suggest, you really got an ear for music or an eye for art, where you can turn a phrase, and pick up their counsel, and then, from that, throw your heart into it. But it does take time. It takes effort. It takes commitment, and you got to get real too. You want to be realistic. What you don't want to do is, consider yourself a great tenor and you can't carry a tune. You want to get that sorted out so that you don't blow a lot of money going to writers' conferences, and then all of a sudden you have a trouble stringing one paragraph. That's not where you want to go. But just build on your strengths and take life incrementally. These are building block kinds of things, one step at a time, and you'll have some success. Enjoy it, and then build on that.
Are you able to share with us some of the people that you interviewed
in the Double Lives
Yes.
book? Yeah. A fascinating guy is Norio Oga, who is the chairman of Sony. Norio Oga was a symphony conductor. He was a great singer, an opera singer in his early days. He's a jet pilot. He's obviously an entrepreneur. He's a calligrapher and a whole host of things. But before he joined Sony, he was a professional opera singer. And he actually pointed out to Sony's chairman, Akio Morita and Saro Mobuka, that as a youngster, that there were some serious defects in their then brand new tape recorder business. And these guys hounded him to join the company. He kept fending them off, and then finally he relented, but only on the promise from them that he could sing professionally on the opera circuit at night and on the weekends, but work for Sony by day. And he did that for most of his working life until when he was 60. He then decided to have another life, and that was as a symphony conductor. And although he was the chairman of Sony at this time, he performed initially twice a year and then later 5 times a year. And, he led the Boston Symphony, the Munich Symphony, the Berlin Symphony, some of the great symphony orchestras around the world. He always came to Hawaii, by the way, and made a performance here at Honolulu. But he just always had this dream and passion of being balanced. Fascinating guy. Sally Ride, the astronaut, I interviewed. Another very, very interesting gal. Grew up in Southern California. She was a tennis phenom. Won herself a scholarship to Stanford. She was a #1 singles and doubles player on their team. They won 2 NCAA titles. Billie Jean King actually tried to, on several occasions, get her to drop out of college and join the pro circuit full time. But a funny thing happened to her at Stanford. She fell in love with astrophysics, got a bachelor's, a master's, and a PhD in astrophysics, was on the faculty, and then saw an ad from NASA to join the space program. And the rest is history. She was the first woman, of course, in space. After that, she came out and founded, with Lou Dobbs of the nightly news show, Space.com. She was the president of Space.com for 3 years, took that public, left that a few years ago to set up a company called Imaginary Lines, Inc., out of San Diego, which is devoted to getting American women, young women, interested in careers in math, science, and engineering. You know, truly a multifaceted. She's written 4 books, great public speaker on a number of corporate boards. Interesting gal.